Hello, Ian McKellen.
Hey, Scott.
Scott what?
Chambers.
Now, let's talk about Chicken.
Yep.
Well, it's one of my favourite films of the last year.
Oh, wow, that's
really,
cool.
Really wonderful. So, go on. People want to know, and I want to know. So, how did it all start? Because it was before the film. There was
A play, yeah. So it was.
And
a
how
play.
do you get involved in that?
Audition.
Audition.
Yeah, so I was like, I think 18 or something like that at the time, and there was this ad online, and it just said my agent wasn't getting me any auditions, so I was like, I'll find it myself. So there's this ad on Casting Call Pro, and it just said like Fringe Theatre at Southwark Playhouse, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I just applied for it, and then I got called in, and then you had to do like, I don't know, I think it was a couple of auditions, and then really luckily I got it. And then Joe, the awesome director, saw it and then made a film.
Fantastic. And how long did it run at the Southwark Playhouse?
Like 6 days. So it was really short.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was kind of like one of those things when you get to the end of it, you feel like you've just starting to kind of really get the character. Because it was only like 2-3 weeks rehearsals, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. And then near the end of the run, I was like, oh, I just wish this could go on for another, like, just forever. But yeah.
Do you feel that Richard's inside you?
Yeah, so what...
Do you sort of recognise him in yourself?
Yeah, so it's a weird one. It's like an imaginary friend, and it's like like me and Joe talk about him on a regular basis. What he's doing now, what he's up to, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely in it, but it's kind of someone else. It's the only character that I've ever done where I feel this. All the others, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. You just watch it and you're like, that's just me.
Yeah.
And then this one, I'm like, oh no, it's just someone that doesn't exist, but in my head it does. You know?
Yes.
Weird.
I know other people who see it. To stretch out their arms and look after Richard.
Yeah.
Make sure he's happy.
Yeah, 100%.
And got some food.
Yeah.
And got somewhere to put his precious things.
Mm-hmm. I think that he's definitely different, but mentally he doesn't see any differences in himself. He's like everyone else, and he is. It's just that unfortunately other people treat him differently.
Yes.
And they make him different.
Yes, I see. Yes. No, it's a very, very positive story from that point of view. That don't underestimate people. And
yeah.
Don't put them in pigeonholes.
Mm-hmm.
They can always surprise you. It'd be good, wouldn't it, for kids to see your film? I can imagine showing it in a classroom of young kids, and of course they'd all be on Richard's side, but then. There's a lot you could discuss about it and about how society works and what the responsibility we have for people who are a little bit out of the ordinary. And
disgusting. Well, you don't have water in your
hair. You are hard work.
There's quite a lot of comedy in the film, isn't there? And you smile. Oh, and if you meet, you say, oh, Richard, it'll be all right. But when you were filming it, did you think in those terms, oh, this will be funny when they watch it?
No, I didn't really feel like anything was funny. Yeah.
There you are, absolutely in charge. You're dominating the screen. You're the central character. People are having a strong reaction because of things you've done, and yet you hadn't anticipated that.
No.
Is that a reaction that you've heard? There's quite a lot of
film of two halves sort of thing. Like you start off kind of laughing a lot with the film, kind of. Hopefully really connecting to the character, and then you kind of peel all these layers away and it's like, oh, that's who he really is. With Richard, it's like this the only thing I've ever done where I can just watch it and kind of go, I can just watch it. Everything else I cringe. Everything else.
Really? Yeah,
because you just see you and you're like, oh, that's how I talk, that's how I walk. Ugh. You know what I mean? Whereas that one I'm like, oh, it's something that I created. It's someone else, and that's cool.
Before I became a professional actor in my teens, acting for me was all about disguise and not being me. And hiding from me. And,
same.
But being confident but not as me.
Yeah. I remember the first emotional scene we did was actually right at the end of the film. It was like one of the last emotional scenes.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. But I knew that was going to happen first, and I was really intimidated by that because it was like, I don't know how I'm going to...
Even though you'd done it on stage and you knew how it fitted in there, or was this a scene that wasn't in the play?
Yeah, it was different. It wasn't in the play. This scene.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Right. So I didn't know how I was going to have acted certain scenes. So it was like, how emotional was I to have gone into this? So it's kind of like working out the end of the arc before you've done the middle bits. So yeah, I think the process definitely changed a lot, and I think I started working a lot more outwards, inwards when I first started, because I was trying to walk like Richard rather than think like him. And then I started changing because it made me a bit paranoid. Do you know what I mean? That I was playing something rather than just being something. Like being what Richard is, because his thought process is very childlike, and I wasn't doing that at the beginning. I was thinking, how do I make people see it rather than just, you know?
Yes. That's the director's job, isn't it, to decide how people are going to see it. Yes. Yeah. How interesting, yes. So I hadn't realised that there were scenes in the film that weren't in the play.
Yeah. A fucking motorbike!
I don't like being upset watching a film or a play. And I hate horror films.
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
What do you like about them?
Oh, everything. It's my favourite genre.
Really? Well, of course, I shouldn't be surprised. A lot of people love them. The night that Channel 4 opened, it arrived.
Yeah. Was you?
Well, it was, and it's Stephen Frears' film, and it was thought to be very daring because it was about what we then, in those days, called mentally handicapped man. Walter. Oh, I love Walter. Sometimes I'm walking on the street and someone will say, "Walter!"
Oh, that's cool.
And I think, well, I don't look like Walter, do I?
No.
Also, it was a long, long time ago, but he really stayed in people's memory. And I think Richard's the same. I think once you've seen Chicken, I think Richard's part of your life, and I think that's why it's an important, really good film. It just changes your attitude to the world around you. Because I know Joe a little bit when you were making the film, or just after. I knew all the problems of raising the funds to do it.
Yeah.
But when you see the film, it doesn't cross your mind that there wasn't enough money.
No.
And I suppose the answer is that there was enough money, because there we are. The film looks terrific. There was a director who used to live in the street actually called David Lean. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Great English film director. And he was making a film in Ireland, Ryan's Daughter. And he wanted a particular shot of the sun going down and beautiful Western Irish seascape, sky. And they kept going back day after day after day, waiting for
that to
the sun to deliver.
Jesus.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Keeping everyone employed and say, "Come down, we may be lucky tonight now, too much cloud," or whatever.
Whoa.
Well, nowadays, of course, you wouldn't do that. You'd get it all painted in afterwards.
Yeah, or the grade, I guess, just high and all.
That's right. So, I mean, there are, when the audience is watching, they have to believe that what they're seeing really did happen.
Yeah.
I was once in digs with a Mrs. Chambers in Ipswich.
That's literally where I live, basically. I live in Colchester. Yeah, like Ipswich is like a 10-minute drive. But my mum's...
Did your grandmum have had digs?
No. But that would have been cool if you said at my nana's.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.